along the way. The first P is purpose. And I don't know if this is right. Oh, this is blocked. There we go. Okay, the first P is purpose. You have to know why you're doing an event, and why you are planning an event is different than what kind of event you're planning. So you got to know what your objective is of this event. Is it to build my brand? Is it to inform people? Is it a fundraiser? Because these things will help shape what you do as far as in your event planning. The second P is people, and there's 5 key people or groups of people that are important in an event planning. The first one is you, the coordinator. Her name is, I think, Raven White, and she's from DC. And the reason that someone's going to hire her is the same reason they're going to hire you, and that's because you can see the big picture, but you're good at also the small details. It's because you're creative and because you're organized. So as an event planner, as a coordinator, you're the head, you're making sure everything runs. So some good characteristics of an event planner, I won't name them all, but you can see them. But basically, if you look at this list, you'll see that you have to be a good right brain person and a left brain person. You got to be creative, but also detailed. You got to be flexible, but also very organized. So as an event planner, people just don't know how hard it is to be an event planner. Who are the event planners in here? I know you're one, right? It's a lot of them. It takes a lot to do events. And so you have to make sure that you're definitely organized. The other one is clients. Sometimes the client is you, so you don't even have to worry about that if you're organizing your own event. But many times you're helping other people. And a couple of things you have to think about with your client. First, you got to get an understanding. Understanding what level of coordination you're doing. Because there's many different levels. Somebody might just hire you for the day of the event. Somebody might hire you to help them plan the whole thing. Somebody may hire you to do the whole concept for them. So understand what you're doing. Also use contracts. I know a lot of people don't like contracts, but at least if you have a contract and you get an understanding, it's on paper. The other thing is you have to make sure you know who your client is. And many people think, okay, the person that's paying the bill is the client, but sometimes it's not. Like with weddings, sometimes it's the parents that are footing the bill, but sometimes your client is the bride and the groom. So you got to understand who your client is and who you're reporting to. A couple of things that you have to understand about clients is, one, as a coordinator, sometimes you're going to clash with them, and that's normal. It's hard because most of the time you're working with people that are big vision people, and then you know the small details. You don't want to crush their dreams, but you also know that it might not be able to go exactly how you want it. So one way you can deal with that is come to them with a solution. You know what, this may not work, but this may work a little better, or but this. And even if they don't budge, at least let them know how you feel and try to make the dream come true as much as possible. But again, you are the coordinator. They're hiring you for your expertise. If you don't think something's right, please speak up. The other thing about coordinators that sometimes you get into spots where somebody else is trying to be the coordinator. I don't know if any of you have ever been in that situation, especially in weddings. Where you're the coordinator, but the maid of honor or the mother of the bride thinks they're the coordinator. So with that, you got to just make sure that you have a clear understanding of who the coordinator is. Talk to your clients if anything happens like that, and just have a level head. Because sometimes it's a lot more going on than you understand, so just remember that. The third group is your target audience. You can't have an event without people. I mean, how many of you have ever been to an event and it's like nobody there? I mean, nobody wants that for their event, so you have to have your target audience. And again, as we talked about in the session before, is that you have to know how to reach them. You got to know what they like. You got to know how much they're going to pay. So target audience is very important. Your staff and your helpers are key. As event coordinators, sometimes we think we can do it all, and sometimes we can, but you can't be at the same place at the same time. You can't be at the registration desk and then also a stage manager telling people to come on stage. So regardless if you planned it by yourself or not, and I would recommend not to plan it by yourself, have some people that you're going to bounce ideas off of, you're definitely going to need people to make this flow. So some of the key people you're going to need a core group. Even if you're a coordinator, you own your own business, you're going to want to bounce some ideas off of someone. Even if your ideas are great, when you have a couple of minds that work together, sometimes you get a better product. So you need that core group that's going to work with you. And one thing about all of these, you got to make sure you get the right people, they say, on the right bus, on the right seat. Because sometimes people have a lot of zeal and a good heart, but you have to know what their strengths and their weaknesses are so you can put them in the right position. Your planning committee, from off of your core group, there may be planning committees like your finance committee, your publicity committee, and so forth like that. As a coordinator, you might not deal with some of these things. Your client might, but there are going to be some committees that will work for you. Maybe the decoration committee and things like that. Also, your event workers. I don't know what to say about that other than I think sometimes we don't give our event workers enough information. Sometimes we have them come the day of and we tell them what to do. But you have to understand the day of, you're going to have some crisis. Something's going to happen. And as you being a coordinator, you might not have the time to sit down and explain to them, this is how I want you to do it. So if you can, please meet with your event people, send them an email, do a little video or something to help them be informed when they get there. I mean, we think, yeah, sitting people is easy, but sometimes it's not. You got VIP seating, you got people that want to sit here, so you got to really have your event workers helping you. And I would say get more event workers than you might think you need, because anybody that's worked at a registration table, like these two ladies here, registration tables can get crazy sometimes. People get upset sometimes. So you really want some backup. You want people to be able to, like they call them house managers. Somebody's from this part on back, and they deal with the ushers, they deal with the registration, they deal with the vendors. Then you're going to need a stage manager from this part on back that's dealing with your entertainment, that's dealing with your technical people, that's dealing with your music. So you're going to need some key people in that spot. Vendors. Vendors are another group of people that's very important. I say most people that are event planners have a specialty in another area. Like, I know some people here are really great decorators and event planners. Like I do marketing and graphic design and event planning. So some vendors you may not have to use, you might can use yourself. But there's going to be a lot of vendors that you need to help you with an event, especially a large event. These are some of the common vendors that you might have to deal with, and there's tons of them. But the key thing to remember as a coordinator or whoever's over there, you want to be the only liaison. You want to be the person that deals with the promoter, the DJ, the caterer, because they get frustrated when about 4 or 5 people on your team come to them and tell them to do this and do that. You want to be that contact person, because you know what? If you have people on your team that's pulling them, you might mess up a relationship with your vendor. And if you're a coordinator, you want to keep that good relationship going with them. So all these different people are people that you might have to work with as vendors. They're not on your team. These are mostly people that you might have to pay. The third P in event planning is planning. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, it takes about 150 hours for a planner working with his or her staff to produce a major event from the start and the finish. And that's a lot of hours. And many of us that do event planning kind of do it on the side, like it's not our 9 to 5. So just think you're working your 9 to 5 and doing event planning and dealing with your family. So an important thing you have to know about your time, and you have to be able to research. What I say about time is start as early as you can. I mean, I know a lot of companies or a lot of organizations, my job, when we do our big fundraiser, the next day we're starting on it again for the one next year. And I know sometimes that seems like, wow, you shouldn't be doing that. But if it's an annual thing, you know it's going to happen every year, why not? At least start looking for your talent or something like that, because it'll come up before you know it. So try to start as early as you can and try to maintain a personal and professional balance, which I can't really talk on because I'm very bad at that. I would just say that. I'm not good at balancing that, but to be a good coordinator, you want to be able to balance that. You don't want this whole event to take over your whole life. You want to be able to do other things and enjoy your family too. Research. Even if you do the same kind of event, like you might do a wedding, every wedding is going to be different because every bride or groom is going to want something different. You're going to work with different clients. So as an event planner and a person that's doing events, you have to be a learner. You have to be able to want to research because you're going to have to be the expert even when you're not the expert. So as much as you can research, everything is inspiration. I know people have their phones now, so you can write it in your notes or you can have a tablet, but everything is inspiration. Go to as many events as you can. Many events that's even different than your events. So you can see, ooh, that was good. That's something I would like to do. Or you know what? That wasn't quite how I should do it for my event. Like people said, there's nothing new under the sun. So if you can expose yourself to different events, different cultures, different things that'll help you better, be a better coordinator. And analyze the competition. I know we don't like to talk about competition, but you do. You have to analyze. You have to see what they're doing. You want to try to fill a void that your competitor is not doing something like Justin was saying, have a unique edge. So analyze what your competitor is doing too. Number 4 is publicity. Okay, we talked about this a little, so I won't go into it a whole bunch, but you got to know how to reach these people. If you're an event planner, you want people to be at your event. So you have to know where they're getting information. You got to know their interest level. If their interest level is high, it'll be a little easier to get them there. If their interest level is low, you might have to do a little education before they even want to be a part of the event. Some events are invitation only, and you got to know when that is, because that's kind of, I hate to do this at weddings. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with this at weddings where there's people that's not on the RSVP list, and you got to be the one to tell them that you're not on the list and you can't come in yet. I mean, so you want to work with your clients and people to make sure it's invitation only. Put that on your invitation, that it's invitation only. If they're doing invites, make sure it says Justin and guest if you want them to bring one guest. If you don't want them to bring a guest, just say Justin. If you want them to bring, if it's Mr. and Mrs. and family, say family. But make sure you specify that, because I've been to an event where somebody brought like 8 of their kids, and I'm thinking, how are you going to bring 8 kids to a wedding when the plate is like $40 a plate? But, you have to make sure that you understand this. Also, use as many avenues as possible that you know that your people will look at. There's so many different avenues. There's flyers. You can get on church banners. You can do radio. They even have ads at gas stations now that run when you're at the gas tank. There's so many different places that you can advertise. So try to figure out where your audience is and do it as much as possible. I know people were joking, and it's true. Justin posts all the time, but you want to do it as much as often as you can, because you don't know when that one person is online and that one person is not. And it's a study that says that it takes 7 times for a person to hear something or see it to even stick to them. So you want to make sure that you do a repetition, that they get the information. What to say? And the only reason I want to say this is because